Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is the Narcissistic Resistance, and this resistance video is sponsored by contribution from Anonymous. And here is your story. Dear Ollie, I was listening to an older video of yours from October 17, 2017. The narcissist always has a plan. It was an interesting one about the person's mother always being sick, and I think you mentioned that your mother had been dying since you were like 10 years old. Yup. She finally did, but yeah, she was dying since I was like 10. In our family, I wasn't allowed to be sick, even though I had been very sick. It was something I couldn't really bring up, or I was complaining. I just needed to keep taking care of everything. My father-in-law had been going to die any moment since my partner and I had first started seeing each other. He was 53 years old and in excellent condition at that time. Both of his parents, the Narcs, had been younger when they passed away. His father was 42 years old, and I believe his mom was in her later 50s. They had both been very heavy smokers, and that was supposedly a contribution to their death. My father-in-law had been a heavy smoker, but had quit when my partner was 10 years old. This was his reasoning to believing he would die young. This imminent death was something my partner had been hearing about so long as he could remember. He told me that his father-in-law had been extremely depressed when he lived past 42 years of age. My partner was about 8 years old at that time. He went through the same depression when he outlived his mother's age of death. I was there for that happy birthday. I actually had some very serious health issues as a young adult, but those were things I was never allowed to bring up. I had a brain tumor at 22 years old that I had to have emergency brain surgery for. The brain tumor came back a couple years later, and I had to have surgery again for that one. There are so many more levels to how serious my actual health issues were and are. On one hand, I would be pushed and guilted into staying on top of all my health issues, like with doctor's appointments and meds, but on the other, I'd be made to feel guilty for everything that would be going on. During all of this same timing early on, we had found out that our son was autistic. The month after I had brain surgery, our son was starting a special preschool class. The first year and longer after my brain surgery, I had memory issues. For years down the road, my memory problems would be used against me in disagreements, fights, and arguments. At a certain point, I knew this was wrong. There were things I did remember for sure. I've more recently learned that I was being gaslighted during those times. Gaslighted with one of my past health issues used to do it. I'm sorry I kind of got off track. I think my original point here was the whole I have a headache, and then their whole, well, I have a worse headache. Right. The narcissist is always sicker than you. No matter what. No matter what, their condition is worse. Okay? And I've told this story, and I'll tell it again, of my brother. My brother had a condition. Now, me and my brother, I had, at the same time, had to go to the same urologist. Because I had to have surgery for kidney stones. Okay? And he had to have surgery. He had what's known as a strangulated testicle. So he'd just be walking and drop like somebody kicked him in the nuts. Because, not to get too medical, but like your testicles hang, I guess, on veins, and they got twisted. And then they had to go in and untwist it, and it would drop him to his knees. And my brother, when we're still talking, and he told the story how he's laying on the gurney, being wheeled in, about to be wheeled into surgery. Okay, and the urologist is trying to talk to my brother about the surgery, about what's about to happen, go down, And my father is standing there trying to bring up his problems, whatever's going on with him. And it's like, yo, your son's about to be wheeled in for a major surgery on his nutsack. And you're here trying to make this about you? And that's where the famous line, when my brother called him on it, when we went over there to try to talk to them one day about a bunch of things, when my father stood up, pointed at my brother, and said, you should have died on that slab. You should have died on that slab. For a question like saying, like, hey man, I'm trying to find out what's going on with my surgery. I'm literally on the gurney being wheeled into surgery, and you're talking about your medical issues to my doctor, to my urologist who's not even your doctor. You should have died on that slab. You should have died on that slab. And when I brought that up to my brother years later, when we were still talking, he's like, wow, how do you remember that? I'm like, dude, how do you forget it? How do you forget that? I really understand that narcissistic tool in their narcissistic toolbox. They always have more extreme versions of that. Like we were lied to for about 10 months by my father-in-law that he had cancer and he was dying from it. A few years from that incident, I actually did have thyroid cancer that I had to have surgery for. Not only did he create problems that made me have to postpone my surgery, he was going around telling people that he was the one that was sick. That's what they do. That's what they do. They can't even let you be sick because they see it as attention. Attention that they could be having for themselves. Well, I'm sicker than you are. Understand, the narcissist is always sicker than you are. I can totally relate when people talk about the lengths that these people will go through. There are quite a few things that I could talk about here. Those are probably stories for another time. I'm very sorry for the length of this email. Thank you, Ollie, for everything you do for this community. You really help a lot of people. Anonymous. Understand, Anonymous, the narcissist is always sicker than you. They suffer more than you. They everything. Whether they do it better or worse, it's more intense than you. Okay? No matter what it is. Whether it's their highest highs or their diseases. Their diseases are worse than yours and they're sicker than you, and their accomplishments are always better than you. No matter what. No matter what. The narcissist is always more sick than you. Always. So, I hope that helps. Thank you so much for your contribution and your story, Anonymous. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, you'd like to have a private video made, or you'd just like to make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you. Without you guys, all this goes away. And YouTube may be trying to make that happen sooner than later. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box below. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. Also, be sure to follow me on the library app, which links are in the description box below as well. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been the Narcissistic Resistance. Take care.